software, so. Okay,
yeah. Right. We will start a little bit further than we started yesterday. The line starts with the word Hanacha. We need to get the sense of what the Rebbe is talking about, the Hanacha B'Sichlis. Hanacha B'Sichlis, we are going to see back and forth. And the Rebbe insists that we should understand that this is a sechel element, not something which is in itself higher than sechel, like Re'iyah or Hisamtus, as we're going to discuss all the various terms that the Rebbe says. Okay, so the line begins with Hi Hanocha, and that is, as you can see quickly, 6 lines from the bottom. At the end of that line, and the principle that the Rebbe is explaining, we have to understand, Hanocha is, so to speak, already accepted and it's set in your sechel, in your mind. Like, just like Re'iyah, yet this is instrumental in allowing you to develop your sechel. We didn't discuss the reason why. Just want to make one brief statement about this, and they'll still discuss it. The reason that it has this effect on your sechel is.
Can I ask something?
Okay, already?
Because Hanocha was said that it's after the process of sechel, then it comes to the Hanocha. But now we're saying that it was also said that the Hanocha helps to develop the sechel, but the sechel was developed before the Hanocha came.
Oh, very good, very good. And the explanation, the answer to your question is exactly in the words.
Press 1.
In the words in the Maimer itself, that what happens as a result.
Returning to the conference room.
Is that then the sechel can go into bina, not just to have a hanocha sichlis, but it can be brought down to the point of full comprehension. The hanocha allows you to go into it in such a total manner that it becomes your hasoga completely. And again, as I started saying, the reason the hanocha is so helpful I have a very simple emotion. I have to give a emotion for this. We said many times, an interesting thing. You're walking in the street, and it has some kind of a demand on your koich as you get tired and so forth. If you are walking the same distance within an enclosure in the house. Like I mentioned many times, there are many people who what's called walkers, what is it called? Pacers in shul. 770 is a large area, and they're constantly pacing. How can you pace or walk so long and then start to sit down, take a rest? Because within this enclosure, it's a completely different force and completely different spirit, and you don't get tired. Your koyach gets rejuvenated all the time. This is a proper moshel for the the effect of Hanacha Sichlis or Iya, which is even higher. Because you are constantly aware of the ultimate reality of this, and this is so to speak your bikan, your point of reference. This is why you can delve into the sechel and go further and further and understand it to the point where it comes into being. Because you're not in no man's land, you're not at a loss. There's a certain reality of that that is constantly with you. This is what Hanacha Sichlis helps in the sechel. Meshuvah Sichel. Okay, so now let's see inside. This helps, and now begins Hanacha. How Hanacha? In what way does it help in the Sichli? Masha Musik Bibina. Musik Bibina is a phenomenal thing. Then it's no longer dependent on just a concept, because you're full-fledged understanding. That which is Musik Bibina is part of your worldly reality. By Avraham Avinu it says a pasuk, "Vayikra Hashem became Hashem Keil Oilam," and she explains a diuk, Keil Oilam, the God world, and not Keil Hoilo, the God of the world. This is a phenomenal transformation. World is world, and God created the world, and in the world there is godliness, but these are two different aspects, of different levels completely. Koil Oilam means that the world, the godliness have permeated the world. There is no world without godliness. This is when it comes into Bina. No longer an extraneous, an addition to your awareness. This is why from Bina, Midas come. Midas means that your personal reaction to it, because it becomes a reality in your own life. Okay, let's continue. As for example, Sheyesh kama inyanim sichli mamukim benifloim. Here we have to be careful. I don't want to skip anything. We've gone through this several times, but we never really emphasized what the Rebbe is trying to tell us. There are many sichlim, inyanim sichlim, intelligent inyanim sichlim, amukim, deep, benifloim. Actually, they are supreme, out of this world concept. But in essence, they are they're above comprehension. They are truly divine truths. They find we recognize their place in sechel. In other words, sechel recognizes them and accepts them. Gabe chachomim, the sechel of chachomim finds a place for these inyanim that are mufloim, that are really supreme and super inyanim. And here is where we need to forewarn. Be'ein zeh b'bchinas riyah dechachma. This inyan that they find place for this inyanim amukim, this supreme inyanim in sechel, is not in the riyah dechachma. They see it, so to speak, from a top down. Not from a sechel approach, but from the Yid, from the Shoma approach. It's not that. Because we are not talking about Chachamim at that level, that they would have this whole inyan of Re'iyah. And yet, they too find a place in their sechel for these inyanim of floy. And then another point, all to support the principle that this is sechel, not re'iyah. V'gam, another point, that they find a place for these inyanim mufloim, supreme and super inyanim, who beseichel, is in seichel. Seichel means in conscious thought. Lo yirak, not only b'derech hisamtus d're'iyah, not only b'derech hisamtus in a manner of hisamtus. Hisamtus means verification, a sense of truth, the re'iyah of sight. What does this say? We already said that they are not b'bchinas re'iyah. It's not re'iyah d'chochma. There are different effects, different levels, even in re'iyah. There is that which is called re'iyah d'chochma, which is an actual recognition. Then there is what's called hisamtus re'iyah. What's hisamtus re'iyah? Hisamtus means like this: something that you have seen at one time, and it was recognized and it was registered, so to speak. It found a place in your mind, but now you don't see it. It still, having seen, still leaves an impression on your mind. It still has inyan from his samtos. This is the truth, even though I don't really see it and I don't really understand it. It's called his samtos de re'iyah. So the Rebbe is saying, you have to understand that these chachamim are able to find a place in their sechel. Sechel means, and he said, this is the thought process. Sechel, for example, the difference between a human being and an animal. This is not a principle. This is not an accepted thing. This is something that we sense in our sechel. This is why those people who don't sense it, we call them idiots. Which means their sechel is just not functioning. This is a sechel. It's a difference, and it's not debatable. And if you ask me to explain to you, I can't explain it. It's not. It's just it is true in my sechel. And yes, pardon me, you can step on a cockroach without a second thought. And you can trap a mouse, pardon me, and without a second thought. And you can kill an animal if you need be. It's a different level. You can kill an animal and eat its meat. A human being, Rahman al-Islam, is in a different category. And everybody senses this difference. Everybody who has a sechel. This is a sechel thing. And it's not b'bchinas l'iyah di chokhmah, it's not b'bchinas the sound of the ear. Kihim zehu mitzad. What then is it? Mitzad ha'hanocha sichlis de chokhmah. This is due to the hanocha sichlis of chokhmah. Okay, let's try to decipher these words. Normally we refer to chokhmah as re'iyah. Re'iyah de chokhmah. Here we say there's a hanocha sichlis of chokhmah. And we also said earlier, and we're going to come to repeat it here now also, hanocha sichlis is something which has been identified, has been brought in through sechel process. Sichli. All of a sudden, hanocha sichel. Is it chokhmah or is it sechel? Here is where we become, so to speak, face to face with the principle of hanocha sichlis I've been discussing all the time. Hanocha sichlis is beyond debate. If it's sechel, the definition of sechel is that it's a process, it's a procedural discovery, and it has to be proven and substantiated, and it come to it through a personal debate. If it's sechel, is it like this or it's like that? That's meant sechel. Here you say no, there's hanocha. There's hanocha, and you call it sichlis. How is it sichlis? The answer to this is that the hanocha element, it is sechel, but where does sichli get the hanocha element? The hanocha element is the effect of the chokhmah on the sichli. Where is the chokhmah coming to sechel? Chokhmah, we say it's in a year. Conceptualization. We pointed out many times an interesting experience. If you come to somebody's home and you're greeted by the proprietor, by the owner of the home, it registers something to you in terms of this home. You are now in somebody's home. If you come into this home and there's nobody there, are you then in no man's home, land? There's nobody there. There is not that chokhmah, that re'iyah, without any qualms, without any procedural process. This is his home. This is our home. Because you have a reference. It's his home. It's not just a home, it's his home. Thinking that this is his home is a chokhmah. And it has a big effect in terms of how you behave in this home and so forth. But now that you're in this same home, but the owner is absent, it's still a home. What's the difference? This home that you're now projecting at, you now recognize, is also due to the presence of the owner. But he is not present. This is the sechel of Chokhmah. It is not that you are reaching to some kind of a personal debate. Is it somebody's home or it's not somebody's home?
Wait, when he's there, it's the chokhmah of Chokhmah.
But there's no procedural process way. You need a message. He's there, finished.
It's not sechli or it's chokhmah.
It's Chokhmah.
It's chokhmah. When he's not there, it's sechel to chokhmah.
It's sechel to Chokhmah.
Why? Because there's a little bit of a disconnect. There's more bina to it. What?
No, there's no bina. This is all Chokhmah. You don't need to. There's no questions yourself. But you see the reality of it.
More consciously than when he's there.
No, not more consciously. When he's there, you see the reality itself. When he's not there, you see it on a sechli level. But it's chokhmah.
One step removed, a little more sechel, less direct.
It's a little. Right. I'll tell you something. Before you ask me a question, ask yourself a question.
I did, and it seemed like they're very direct.
Identical. One second. So my question is very simple. Is there a difference between him being present or not present?
It's hard to say. In some, is there a difference?
I'll give you an example. You come,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there, and there's a chair over there.
Would you sit down without greeting him? No.
But you sit down without asking, "Can I move the chair?"
But if he's not there and it's a good friend, you'd move
He's
the
not there.
chair
You
or
just take
you'd
the
sit
chair
down.
when you give it a second.
Okay, so there's a difference. And this difference shows on chokhmah direct or sechel.
A sechel the chokhmah. It's still chokhmah. The effect of it is coming from the chokhmah. But is the sechli the effect of chokhmah?
Okay. And we got into this to say something about Hanacha? Or?
Okay. This sechli of chokhmah is what creates the Hanacha Sichlis.
One more time. This sechel of Chochmah is what creates the Hanacha.
Hanacha. Because on the one hand it's Sichli, on the other hand it didn't come through any kind of a debating process. There was never a question.
It creates the Hanacha. Is it not the Hanacha that creates the sechel?
No. The Chochmah creates Hanacha Sichlis. Then you can draw from it sechel, but what creates it is the Chochmah. And then Sichlis the Chochmah. It's a Hanacha Sichlis of Chochmah. In other words, it is Sichli. To you in the form of a Hanacha Sichlis, not a sechelic process. Hanacha Sichlis is a sechel. And the sechel is affected by something higher than sechel.
So creating something higher than sechel.
What?
It's affected by it, but it's also creating it.
But the Hanacha Sichlis. It's a Hanacha Sichlis. Hanacha Sichlis means, yes, it's Hanacha, but it makes sense. These are all different elements in the Nefesh Hodom, in the Kochas HaNefesh, Kochas HaSeichel. The effect is very simple. Hanacha Sichlis is like Riyid Chochmah. But it's not like the Riyid. It's not in Riyid Chochmah. It's lower than Riyid Chochmah. Like in Amos, the owner is there or is not there. Different effect, a different impression. He says, they understand these inyanim mufloim, these deep inyanim, and mufloim. And it's not b'bchinas riyah. It's not that they see something they can't really make sense of. And it's not derech hisantos riyah. Not something that that it's, so to speak, forced upon them because they see that this is true. It's not something. The effect is it does not come from something superior to their sechel. It's processed to the sechel. The way to describe it, the way to refer to it is what's called Hanocha Sichlis the Chochmah. It's the effect of Chochmah, but then what affects Hanocha Sichlis rather than Re'iyah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Now we're saying that it's not b'derech hasamtas deriyah, but inside it says lo irak b'derech hasamtas deriyah means
What?
b'derech hasamtas. Inside it says lo irak b'derech hasamtas deriyah means that it's not only b'derech hasamtas deriyah, means samtas deriyah is also there.
The reason the word lo irak, b'derech hasamtas, does not mean the way you're interpreting it. Samtas the Re'iyah is a very limited element of sechel. There's a year where you have the whole thing. His amtos of the year means I've been convinced, but I don't really relate to it. That's means his amtos of the year. So if it's only his amtos, it doesn't leave me any leeway of debating, but because I already know the truth of it, but it's not something that I really relate to. This means Rag is something to the year. This is what Rebbe says. It's not just something to the it's not stripped of all process, personal relations, just something to the year. You've seen it. You have no choice but to recognize it. No. Kiim, rather this is richer than that. Zehu mitzad hanoches sechel zechochmo. Process. It's something that really touches you. Hanoches sechel the chochmo. It's chochmo, but not the chochmo, but hanoches sechel is the effect of chochmo.
Basically lower than Re'iyah.
Lower than Re'iyah.
But very settled.
But very real. That's right. Very settled. And the chokhmah, it's something which is drawn from chokhmah.
And why is it not just like Re'iyah? Because it's a little more sickly, a little less settled.
Because you see it. Okay, here's the point. You come to somebody's home, he is absent. What do you see? Your sechel tells you that this is somebody's home, but you don't really see him.
You don't really see him. You're saying physically you don't see him there.
No, there's nothing forcing you to admit that this. If you're Bas Sechel, you see it.
Oh, so that's to say there's a faculty at play. You need to have a certain operational. Mashen can by Re'iyah, it's just so direct.
That's right. So he's there.
Same with like Amashal of the dining room table in the room before it's there. The man's not there, but
Let's stick to this mashal before we go to other.
So here he's not present. So he's not present, but Hanacha that it's clearly his house, and you take it as such. But that's not Re'iyah because.
What do you see?
But it's a very direct. Okay, but it's not as direct as
it's a sechel. You identify it.
That seems to be the case whether he's there or not, meaning the behemoth doesn't care if he's there or not.
No, but he's there, it's not sechel.
Why not?
Then you see him.
You do see him, but the significance is sichli.
No, the significance of him also the person there.
But he'll trample through the whole house. See him or not see him, it's of no consequence.
But if the person gets up, he runs away. He's going to trample because it doesn't mean anything to him, but he will recognize that this is something. The reality of the person has a completely different effect. When he's absent, your sechel tells you that he is there. It's a completely different. And it's not just his samtos, it's called Hanocha Sichlis de Choch. Why we call it it's Chochma, not Sechel? Because it is instantaneous. It's not something that you come through debate. You don't prove to yourself there's somebody, this is something. You identify with it immediately. You identify with its truth immediately. This is not inyanim of sechel. It's a Hanacha sichlis, and it's called chochma. The chochma element that gives you a sense of this truth, of this reality. Is the chochma. Chochma is the one who creates the Hanacha sichlis, although it is sichli. Sichli, despite the fact that this is sichli, and sichli means that it goes through it's a procedural recognition. Everything fits. That's it, sichli. So even though it is sichli, is Hanacha. Its principal process is in a Hanacha manner, not in a Hasaga manner. It is not by convincing yourself, but Hanacha, but by cognizance. It's yourself on a sechel level.
What means cognizance?
One second. Cognizance means recognition. Hakor. Because it is not B'chinas Hasaga, but it is B'chinas Hanacha sichlis, affected by Chochma. For this reason, Yesh Shom Mokot. There is also room. Gam L'ho inyanim shel L'mayla Me'Hasaga. Because you have it mitzad the Chochma, not mitzad Hasaga.